have to keep on just being like,
Hey.
and you're gone.
We tried some new chairs today. They're comfortable.
Yeah.
But they're not suited to this table very well.
Well, and I'm very much like a gentle giant, so
You are.
being up even higher is just cause for concern. Can you take
me higher?
Take me higher? Look at you dropping some Creed.
Oh,
like Creed doesn't get the. Never mind, I can't even finish that
sentence
because I was like, listen, it was always Creed.
Yeah.
But like
we all knew in the back of our minds
they weren't going
Scott
the distance.
Stapp. Yeah, we all knew that Scott Stapp was a little
off.
Probably not who he was portrayed to be.
Right.
And then we found out that was absolutely accurate.
Right.
But here's the thing. Here's who I feel bad for in the entire. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Yeah.
Here's who I feel bad for in the whole Creed saga, if you will. Well, no. It's Mark Tremonti.
He's a guitarist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is so good.
Right.
And he just got caught up with the wrong crowd.
Yeah. Listen.
He just got caught up in the wrong crowd.
He thought they were going the distance.
He thought they were going for speed.
But
he's all alone in his time of need. And that's the second music reference in
30 seconds.
Yeah, under 2 minutes.
Wow. That was 3.
There you go. Oh, man.
Yeah.
What a week it has been.
Yeah. I don't know if it's I feel like we should address the...
If you're hearing road noise, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't know what's going on.
I'm going to go out and stop traffic.
That'd be good.
But if I went and did that, I couldn't be here.
It's true. Well, you have experience.
I do. So I could do it.
You could do it. You have the skill set.
Right.
In which to do these things.
I have the ability.
You have the technology.
But I don't have the ability yet to multiply myself and be in 2 places at the same time.
Someday.
Which that'd be pretty cool.
Would it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, so, I think it'd be pretty cool because it's like, listen, I got to do stuff at home. Like, I could be doing things at home. Right now.
Sure.
And then it's just kind of like you would need to trade off. That's the big thing.
Well,
like, it can't just be the same.
Do you remember that?
Because it would.
Multiplicity?
Yeah, because it would still be you.
Okay.
Right? So you would have to switch off. Like, it couldn't just be. You would be very depressed if you were work.
Right.
You know, work beard. Where it's like, listen, so I can stay at home.
You go to work. You do the thing.
Like, you would be depressed because you would miss your family and everything. Like, so you would need to trade off.
Well, therein lies the question, right?
Okay.
A, is it really healthy for society? And here's where I'm coming to that. See, we have these magnificent little monsters that live in our pockets.
Right.
Right. And because of that, if you recall, when we were children, if I wanted to call young Tucker, I had to dial his phone that rang at his house
and ask.
And if he was there, I could have a conversation with him.
Right.
And if he was not, I had 2 options. Leave a message or move on with my life.
And call back later.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Call back later, whatever it is.
Right.
But that was the peak of the sense of urgency that we were allowed.
Right.
Okay? And so now I suppose there's a third option. I could go, well, sometimes Tucker hangs out here at this person's house.
Right.
Or this. So if it was like
find out
super
where I
serious, like I could call around or drive around to places that you are known to be.
Right.
If it was a real emergency.
Right.
But the level of emergency that's required there is high.
Right.
Like
I was like, I don't think I ever got to that point.
Right.
Of the sense of urgency. It was, okay, as soon as he gets home,
yeah,
have him call me.
And that was it.
Right.
But now we have these,
Then it went to beepers.
and they're on us all the time.
Right.
Right. So we're not. I'm not trying to break down the timeline. I'm saying here's the danger that this thing poses to our society right now. Okay, and that is everything has become an emergency.
Yeah.
When was the last time you got a phone call that you didn't answer? And then sometimes it's followed up with either an immediate second phone call or if not
A
a
text.
text message.
Right.
And then you've been doing stuff and now you're looking at your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, this must be really important.
Right. I better
And
call
so you
back.
return that call.
Right. Well, and
it's not freaking important.
Well, and I think,
but the expectation is that we are available
at all
24
times.
hours a day, 7
Right.
days a week to anyone who we've given this contact information to.
Oh yeah.
That's not good.
Right.
Because it has given us an inflated sense of what an actual urgent matter is.
Right. Because then, as you know, and we've had this conversation recently of what is important to other people.
Yes.
Because it has also been, I have an emergency, I'm contacting,
Right.
I need to get a hold of them now. I should be able to get a hold of them now.
Why aren't they answering?
Why aren't they, yeah. So I get it.
So take it a step further.
That you can multiply yourself.
Now they're going to want unfettered access, even in the middle of the night. Because, well, you're
I wouldn't
asleep,
tell anybody.
But the clone isn't.
Right. I wouldn't tell anybody.
It doesn't matter, though. It wouldn't matter if you told anybody.
Okay.
Because inherently what you're going to do is you're going to send this clone to do more and more things that you don't want to do.
Right.
And because of that, now you see more available because now the real you, Tucker number 1,
right,
no longer has to do anything he doesn't want to do. So you start sending the clone to do all those things.
Right. But I get what you're saying, but you're saying I'm saying in a way of.
But then people anticipate that, oh, well, Tucker's always seems to be available anytime, day or night.
Right. But
They don't know
that.
it's not Tucker 1, it's Tucker 2 or 3 or 4.
Right, but I think that the bigger we get to talk about this all day because in your mind there'd be Tucker 1 and Tucker 2.
Right.
But that's not. There wouldn't be a 1 and 2. Like you would have to share that responsibility of being Tucker.
Okay. So you've multiplied yourself. I'm gonna throw another scenario at you right now.
Well,
it's gonna hit hard.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and so that would have to be addressed.
Okay, so see, this is where
going off the
where
rails.
it falls off the rails.
I understand.
So what happens when? Again, we're just gonna go Tucker 1 and Tucker 2. I get it; they're the same consciousness.
Right. I'm thinking of it more in a way of was it multiple X-Men? They could multiply and
then compress back into one. So you're splitting your consciousness. You're creating some virtual Horcrux to go out there.
Yeah. And then come back.
Now you're a bad wizard.
Well, okay.
Because
I'm not doing it as
but how far does it fall and how quickly?
Right. I get it because we've gone off the rails. So
we're here. We're digging into this one. So human nature is inherently not great.
Agreed.
Okay. So, and while I believe you to be a kind, forthright human being, how much temptation can you stand?
Right. Of having this ability to be able to.
Right.
I'm sitting here talking.
Beyond the social implications where people just assume that you are truly available to do anything that they feel that they need for them.
I never
at any given point in time.
That's a whole other. That's what I'm saying.
Let's not have that conversation on microphone.
Right, because it could be for me, that's the flip side of it. Is going. I try and already spread myself too thin.
Yeah, you're trying.
The plate is already.
You're trying to spread yourself even thinner. Grenade out. You're trying to spread yourself even thinner.
Right.
When through many conversations that we have had.
Right.
What
that
we
would
need
be
to be doing
is
spreading yourself thicker.
Yeah.
Right. Learning to say no.
Right.
Learning to say no.
Right. And if I multiplied myself,
You
that
would
would just
and it would
never
actually
say.
And it would deepen that, and I use this phrase in the most loving possible way. It would deepen that character flaw.
This is a therapy session that I didn't know.
I didn't know what was happening either.
No, but agree. Like, it's just one of those things of like, hey, that'd be cool, but then you go, oh, it's that flip side of. I think we played it on the Facebook, like, name your superpower,
right,
and then
always ruin it,
and then ruin it because that's what it would be like.
Exactly. So assuming
it'd be emotionally damaging,
I believe it would, and so you're going into the expand and contract method, which is not where I was.
I get it. Like you were thinking multiplicity and just
I was thinking
myself.
having extra tuckers.
Right.
Where do you keep them? What do you feed them? And how do you feel when you come home one day and one's kissing your wife?
Right. Because it would be
then you murder it.
Right. And then that's a whole other.
Right.
That's a whole other television show.
So what's one thing, if you watch like a crime show, or just your life.
Right.
A crime is committed. A suspect is identified. What is one of the first questions investigators are going to ask? Where were you on this day at this time?
Right.
Well, if I've got more than one of me, I can have witnesses that say I was right over here and really I was robbing First National Bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is...
There's only one of me.
There's only one of me.
So I obviously couldn't be where you think I was.
But say this technology was widespread enough.
Oh, it'd be...
It would... The alibi is the greatest defense.
Yeah. No,
I didn't rob that bank.
Here's
where I was.
I was at Walmart.
Look at me on the security footage.
I was on 100 cameras.
We're on 100 cameras all the time nowadays.
Well, that's completely different.
I'm just saying.
I know. I agree.
I'm just saying.
I agree.
So, no.
Skynet.
Just learn to say no.
Yes.
There we go.
Exactly.
Speaking of people who learned to say no. I'm stretching this one.
Okay, I was like, I don't know where you're going with this
one. Yet another major Hollywood studio has raised the proverbial middle finger to the movie theater business.
And
they did it in a huge way.
Yes. And we have been saying it for quite some time now, since this shutdown has started.
Right.
That the nails in the coffin of the movie theater.
The theater industry built their own coffin. Yeah.
And since the last time we talked, it has been a couple nails in the coffin. I think there's only a couple nails left.
Well, because what Warner Brothers is doing, what they are doing is unprecedented.
Yeah.
So
but genius at the same time.
So Disney, they did the thing where they're like, well, we're going to release it on demand a couple months before it's available on our streaming platform.
Right.
But you got to pay $20 or $30 or whatever.
Yes.
Right. Still cheaper than going to the theater.
Way cheaper.
Also, we waited.
Right.
I think Warner Brothers saw that move, and they go, all right, we're going to partner up with a streaming platform of our own. We're going to do it differently. If people are subscribed to this platform, we're releasing all of our movies direct to this platform next year.
Their whole slate of movies.
18 films. 18 films.
Yeah.
And if you look at just, let's assume I've got them here.
I mean, they're
But let's
going to
assume
yeah,
that you wanted to see all 18 of these films.
right.
Which is arguable to say probably most people are not.
No, but I think we were kind of talking real quick before you start on the list. But it's kind of that conversation because, and we were talking about it the other day, that when I've gone to the movie theater, I've like picked and choose. Like
Right.
Is this movie
Worth it.
worth going? Like I kind of want to see this movie, but I don't really need to go to the movie theater to see it.
Right.
Like it looks interesting, but I don't. This one I'm gonna go see. This is Avengers level.
Yeah.
This is I'm going to the movie see it. This one is.
There are movies on this list that I absolutely can tell you that I would not go to the theater to see.
Right.
But I absolutely am.
And that's my thing. Like that's
HBO
why it's genius.
just won my business back.
Right. That's why I think it's genius because I will pay $20 to see a movie like at home that I wouldn't have gone to the movie theater to go see.
Exactly. And like I said, with this partnership, I had canceled. We kind of bounce around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've got our core
right.
entertainment offerings,
right.
which is Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like most people have the big three.
Yeah, but I've even kind of bounced around on Hulu. Like,
right.
Hulu's one that I don't watch all that often.
See, we use it because especially over the last few years, there have been some really great, like new sitcoms that have been.
What I was going to say, and that's different because I also have satellite.
Okay, so we are a cord free.
Right. So that's the difference because
yes.
if I didn't have that, then I would be watching more Hulu.
Right. Okay.
So I'm not knocking it, but a lot of the shows that we've wanted to watch,
we have it on satellite, or you can DVR it or whatever.
Right.
Right.
So that's the difference. So
then Hulu kind of shows it the next day.
Right.
It's available to stream, like the major networks, available to stream the next day.
Right.
And we have at a couple of different trial periods, basically subscribed to like streaming live TV services.
Okay.
But normally only when there's like a big event,
right,
that's occurring.
Right.
So like one year we did it because we wanted to watch the Olympics.
Right.
This year we did it because election coverage. It was
right
easier to find on traditional networks, so we changed to the live TV subscription of Hulu.
Right.
So we've had those different options.
No, and that makes sense. And
but
that's
HBO was kind of like,
Right.
There's some good stuff on there, and we've jumped in, and their offerings now are exponentially better.
Right. We just did HBO Max.
That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah. So it's like, so we had HBO and then HBO Max, and there was a couple of shows on there that we were interested by, and then I've heard rumors in the mill of future shows that are planning on coming. And I was like, okay, cool.
Sounds good.
Because I've heard rumors of a Batman Beyond show,
right,
starring Michael Keaton, which could be completely a rumor. I can't confirm or deny that, but I'm like, I'm in.
Right.
If he's coming back as Bruce Wayne and old man Bruce and
just getting done.
I'm in.
Right. But this pushed me over the edge to go back to HBO Max as a subscriber. Wow.
Yeah.
Spit that
yeah.
That was a lot.
It was a tongue twister.
Weird consonants in a row there. And it wasn't just that. It was the first one right out of the gate, Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to the World. Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah. Which is
premieres on HBO Max and here's where they're doing it differently, obviously, is they are doing it as simply a part of your subscription.
Right. But that's one
They're
of
not pulling a Disney and doing $30 extra to see
Right.
Wonder Woman on Christmas Day. No.
Right.
It is,
here
if
it
you're
is.
a subscriber, here it is.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure, like, how many people just now subscribe to HBO just because of this news?
Oh,
but
sure.
That's the perfect example. Like, I enjoyed Wonder Woman. That was a really good movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have gone to the theater to go see Wonder Woman 8, especially now. Like, it would have to be.
Well, my daughter, my oldest daughter, is a huge, loves Wonder Woman.
Right.
Huge fan.
Right.
So we saw the first one in the theater, and we would absolutely have seen the second one in the theater. We'd have figured out a way.
Right.
Heck, with the capacity levels that our theaters around here are at, if I bought 6 tickets, I'd have almost the entire theater to myself.
Right. But that's just one of those ones, especially right now. You know, with the whole quarantine thing, it's kind of that's an extra level.
Yeah, it makes you ask that second question. Because for me, like, I've never been one that likes to go see like dramas and things like that in a theater.
Right, but you would
me, it just doesn't warrant the cost.
Right, but I would sit at home and watch, like, hey, that movie looks really good, and we are big fans of movies we've never seen before.
Right.
We like to do that, and that would be a huge thing. But yeah, just that one in general. Like, I don't know if I would make the leap and just and go do that, but I will certainly sit at home.
Well, like, so one of the films that Warner Brothers is putting out next year on HBO Max was supposed in should add that all of these will also have theatrical release dates the same day that they're available on HBO Max. They will be available in theaters. So if you want that big theater experience for these films, you absolutely still have that option, assuming theaters are actually open.
Right.
Right, but like one of the ones I saw on the list was The Many Saints of Newark, which is a prequel to The Sopranos.
Oh, okay.
And as you know, I love me a mob movie.
Yes.
And so that excites me.
Yeah.
But also a movie that I probably wouldn't have gone and seen in the theater is Mortal Kombat.
Right.
But I'm guns to watch it.
100%. I'm on a weird little side note.
Matrix 4.
Yeah. That's huge.
Like,
I don't know how they're going to do it.
The new Suicide Squad movie, Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Yeah.
These are all heavy-hitting movies that
would have done well in the box office.
But theaters they failed to make them. Look at the businesses that have thrived during what has been arguably a challenging year for all business.
Yeah.
Look at the businesses that thrived. They are businesses that brought tremendous amounts of value to the customer.
Yeah.
And while, yes, entertainment is valuable.
Right.
Absolutely is valuable. They took that corner that they had on the market and they exploited it too much to the point where they ceased to be valuable enough.
Right. Somebody else stepped in and
Amazon is killing it because they're valuable.
Right.
They provide a service that we all need and appreciate.
Yep. And other businesses have jumped in to make things easier. Right. And make things like they've adapted. Right. And it's one of those things where movie theaters, as much as they're kind of pigeonholed into this little niche. Right. But what if one of these AMC or one of these big companies would have started their own streaming service? Right. Just imagine if they would have gone, hey, you can go to the theater at home, and it's their own streaming service, and you just pay this much for the movie that you want to see. Right. They would have done well, like mark it up a little bit, because we know that movie theaters make a lot of their money off concessions. Right. So by the big studios doing this, the movie theaters
reminds me
done.
I think so. Because if this proves to be successful
Yeah.
for Warner Brothers, it's over.
Because honestly,
Universal has already
Yeah.
has already done a couple of like video on demand simultaneous releases with their theatrical dates.
Right.
If this works for Warner Brothers, the theater industry is done as we know it.
Yeah. Because it is easier and less money for me to run to the grocery store, buy some candy. Everybody picks out their own
already has
candy
a
and
great
some
relationship
popcorn.
with Netflix.
Right.
Disney obviously has their, and so you've got three of the
It's like we haven't
biggest
even get.
houses.
Yeah, it's like
We have three of the biggest houses: Universal, Warner Brothers, and Disney.
Yeah.
That is the top of the mountain.
Right.
In Hollywood.
Right. And
Paramount being amongst those titans as well.
But they're all getting involved in the streaming
Yeah.
business. I mean, Disney's brought it, man.
Yeah.
And I kind of getting off on the Disney thing real quick. I saw a thing that was like John Favreau has been hospitalized with a severe back injury
because he's taken the entire weight of the Star Wars franchise upon his shoulders.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's killing it.
He is.
He is killing it.
Now I'm going to take this moment.
We haven't talked in the last couple of weeks. We didn't address the fact that this is our first.
This is our first episode back
since our live show.
Since our live show.
I wasn't able to.
Thanks again to everyone who came out for that and watched it. We had a fun night. It was good times.
And we had some laughs, good, bad, or indifferent. We did it makes for a really good story.
That's right.
That we'll have to just get into at some point. But I love everybody that was there and enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And
we learned a lot.
Yeah. So this is our first one back. So we haven't talked like the last couple weeks of The Mandalorian.
Ugh.
Which I saw something that was like the last 2 episodes
were better
than the sequel trilogy. And I don't know about that because, listen, I was talking to my son last night and it's like, listen, I because I grew up Star Wars, like as much as I wouldn't have done them, if I was making the Star Wars movies, I wouldn't have made them in the way that they were. But it makes me kind of enjoy it because I'm just along for the ride, for what it is. And am I boring you already?
You're not boring me. I'm sorry.
I started talking about Star Wars and you're like, listen, I'm out. But like, just listen. I love them. Like, they are what they are. But The Mandalorian is bringing it
hard. Now, I will say this. So, fandoms in general perplex me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just if you're too deep in your fandom's own BS,
I always stay on this side of the line.
Calm down,
right?
Because
I'm not going to tell you what kind of engine this starship has and why it has it. Like I stay on this side of the line.
I turned 38 years old a couple of weeks ago. And I was 37 years old when I learned that TIE Fighter was an acronym.
Right. I know it's an acronym. I don't know what it stands for. But
all of engine.
Yeah. There you go. I know I've heard it.
I didn't know any, again, very casual fan of Star Wars.
Right.
I love the movies.
Right.
But never really took it any deeper than that until The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And that's what got me to start watching like the Clone Wars.
Right.
Just because I wanted to know more of the story.
Right. Well, and that's one of the cool things about this universe. You can be on this, hey, they're really good movies, enough to get you. And then if you want to get deep in the weeds, you can go deep in the weeds.
Right.
There, all the little things like the, TIE Fighter being an acronym and all that stuff. But we were kind of joking around on our what I like to call the pre-show of they've just kind of set off an explosion of what's canon, what's
right
part of
well, and
the
that's
universe.
and that's
what's-
where I get a little frustrated with the Star Wars fandom
right.
because some people have taken it too far. A lot of people, and that's the case with every fandom. But
Right. One when
to
it
hear
gets
people like just ripping on the sequel trilogy
right.
for its plot holes and lack of continuity and all
Right.
of that, which are valid arguments.
I mean, it's 43-year-old story. It's
but
over.
to hear them
It's
praising
right.
The Mandalorian when they bring Boba Fett back from the dead.
Spoiler alert.
The episode
And listen,
been out
it's
for a week almost.
Right. Yeah.
By the time you're
You should be
hearing
watching it. And it was something we knew anyways. He had already made his little appearance, but
right.
and I love what they did because they brought back the same actor.
Right.
That was Jango Fett, which was
Boba
Fett was a
Fett. Yeah, was a clone of Jango Fett.
Right.
But he was an unaltered clone.
Right.
Blah,
It
blah,
wasn't
blah, blah,
aged. Right. So the fact that they brought him back and that's what it is. But they brought in Ahsoka Tano.
Mm-hmm.
And which is a character that was created and developed for the Clone Wars cartoon
right
show, which took place
and then
before
and the later
or after
takes place between episode 2 and episode 3.
Right. And so it's a character that was purely for that, but it was Rosario Dawson, man. Which is what I was saying. Do you know how many universes she's part of?
It's a lot.
So now she's part of the Star Wars universe.
Right.
She's part of the Marvel universe.
Yep.
And the View Askew universe. Just to name 3.
Yeah.
I know I'm probably missing some, but like that's like
and
they have like the goats, which is like the Grammy
Death Proof.
I don't know. I mean, she was in Sin City.
Yeah.
Frank Miller, like
she was in which the Death Proof is kind of loosely linked. Death Proof and there's a couple of movies.
Yeah.
That they did, which were great.
Was she in any DC? I feel like she was in a DC movie or something. I don't know.
We're getting into it.
Other than, Sin City's not. That was Dark Horse. That's
Dark Horse. But I'm saying it's another universe with the Frank Miller connection there, though.
Right. So
well, she was in the Lego Batman.
Oh, sure. So I was like, depending on how much you want to be pulling at strings, then yeah, has ties to DC. She's got
yeah. Well, and she actually did. She was the voice of Wonder Woman in a Justice League cartoon. Thing.
But she brought a cartoon character to life, and it was amazing.
She's been Wonder Woman in several DC cartoons.
But you know who didn't get the recognition I think they deserve for that episode? Michael Biehn. Like I got so excited to see Michael Biehn just show up, and I'm like,
"What's up, Mike?
What's up?" Just be from The Abyss to Terminator,
right?
To The Rock, to Tombstone. He's been in
so many things.
Yeah, and he just shows up in the Star Wars universe now. There it is.
And it's just good.
Yeah.
But going back to what I was saying earlier, hearing people rag on the sequel trilogy so much.
Hold on, Zach Moore's timeout.
Okay.
For half a second, because I think it's funny that my phone, which is on silent, someone just tried to call me, didn't answer. They immediately called me again. So I'm just
back to the beginning of the episode. episode.
Yeah, sorry.
But Boba Fett's return
yes,
is a major continuity inconsistency.
Yeah, and I think we talked about it for the fact it became. I think I looked it up in the total of the prequel, the original trilogy.
Right.
He's in those movies for 7 minutes.
Right. And he dies a real derby death.
But he became a fan favorite.
Yeah.
And George Lucas.
This is before we knew of the clones. This is before we knew of any of this.
Right. But yeah, and that was just the original. He became a fan favorite character.
Right.
But George Lucas clued into that later.
Lucas is a genius for picking up on that.
But it was afterwards.
Right.
But it was after he died a really
derby death. But then he gave him a backstory that.
But that was part of it.
The entire universe.
Right.
That universe hinges upon.
Right.
I mean, the Clone Wars was a major event in the timeline.
Right.
That was absolutely part of his backstory.
Right. His dad was the reason there's clones.
Right.
You know. But so he gets knocked into by a blind Han Solo. His jetpack gets hit.
Right. Some real Sanford and Sons garbage going on.
And he falls into a Sarlacc pit, which is a giant sand monster that takes 1,000 years to
digest things.
And Boba Fett lands in this. And in the movie, you hear a scream.
Right.
Of pain. And it is, hey, he died. But now he's back.
And his armor's not even that bad.
No, that was one thing I guess I saw something that you could see a mark on the jetpack from where it got hit, but that's
it.
Other than it being aged, it's not crushed or
really scratched up all that much.
Right. So
everything still functions properly.
I'm hoping that there's going to be
more of him.
Yeah,
there will be. Obviously.
Now, but a little bit of, hey, this is what happened.
Right.
This is how I got out. They make some cool kind of.
Yeah, they tell us, they fill us in on that.
Right.
How is it possible?
Because his face looks a little scarred and stuff like that, but his helmet's fine. Right. So I just need some.
So the scars had to come from something else, because obviously he's been without his armor for a very long time.
Right. So it's just kind of, is that from that? Is that from other things? Is that from some hard living? I don't know.
May never know.
But it's awesome.
It is.
It's I could probably sit here and talk about it all day, but I'm like,
let's go.
Yeah.
But no, I know we just mentioned spoilers.
Yeah.
And I felt pressured to watch this episode earlier than I intended to.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was, getting up and kind of starting moving, one of the first things I do every day, because I've turned off the notifications on my Facebook app on my phone, so I'll check it a few times a day.
Right.
And so usually, kind of wake up, just getting things going, maybe have a cup of coffee, and I saw 3 partial spoilers in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to just go ahead and watch the episode before getting things started, before it gets even worse. Come on, man.
Yeah.
3 days. Give people 3 freaking days.
Right. Well, the
first spoiler I saw was actually on Friday night.
Oh, yeah. No, I started seeing stuff and I was like, okay, I gotta I was going to try and watch it Friday night and just didn't.
No.
Day gets away from you and then you're like, I'm going to be starting this way too late.
No.
But yeah, no, they've been right away, the spoilers. So I've been trying to catch wind of it, but
I'm telling you, the biggest victim of the coronavirus has been human decency.
Very true.
It's dead.
Very true. No, I think this last episode I think you would say it had all the feels. It had the, once it Made you feel really good. One, you laughed.
Lots of
you,
highs,
you cried.
of lows.
Lots of lows. And I had too much emotional investment into fictitious characters and inanimate objects.
Well, inanimate objects, and then, so before we probably should bring this home sometime soon, but so you mentioned Ahsoka Tano,
right?
Coming in, and it's like interesting, but she said something about Grogu.
Oh yeah,
the child.
She was able to communicate with the child, or AKA Baby Yoda.
Yes.
Who was never baby.
Yeah, Grogu.
His name is Grogu.
Which my daughter strongly disagrees with.
Yeah,
she thinks his name should be like Sparkle Cupcakes. Like,
that'd be amazing. No, I thought it should be with a Y.
Well, because the only other two creatures we know of start with a Y.
Right. So
but that's like if you only met,
I just thought that'd be a cool
two white people in your whole life, and both of their names started with the letter K.
Right.
I guess all white people have K names. Right? I mean,
yeah, sure.
Checkmate.
Yeah, I was just like,
no, but she saw something in the child that concerned her.
Mm-hmm. Attachment.
And was concerned that he could embrace, he was likely to embrace the dark side of the Force. And we saw it in this episode.
Yes.
We saw it a lot in this episode. If you're paying attention to, think of Yoda. Just think of Yoda, the great Jedi Master, and how he acted. Just the things that he did, and the reasons that he did them. And the child's behavior in this most recent episode was so far the opposite.
Oh, right. Because it was talking about the attachment to the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
To that character, and that concerned her, and she said a line that was like the greatest, like little one-liner, and it was like, I've seen it before.
And I've seen it destroy fully trained Jedis before.
Yeah.
And even somebody who's only watched a little bit of the Clone Wars, I haven't come anywhere near completing it.
Right.
I know that the dude who trained her grew up to be Darth Vader.
Right.
And so she was literally referring to Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
And so that was a moment where, you get that little chill.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know.
Yeah, that little punch to the gut.
Yeah. But then in this most recent episode, you see some of that dark in Grogu, in the child.
Yeah.
Sparkle Cupcakes.
Sparkle Cupcakes. That's what I'm going to call it from now on.
But that was something I found very interesting.
Yes.
Anyway.
So, yeah. All the feels, man. Welcome back to the studio. We got to cut this episode and
then we're gonna take a.
Well, we got one next week.
Yeah, we've got today's episode, next week's episode, and then we are going on Christmas vacation. And so
then we'll be back after the New Year.
Maybe we're gonna wake us up when December ends. Let's see if that.
How many music references can we make?
That's gonna do it. Stay safe out there. Stay healthy. And until next time, he's Tucker.
He's Beard.
And we're out.